Hi, everyone. We are finally going to start Spanish 4 stuff. So we are going to start out with chapter 4A, and you're going to be watching this video while also simultaneously having the notes out and be filling the notes in. These notes will probably stretch over 2 to 3 days. So you'll have 2 to 3 days to complete this, and I'll put what I need done from you in your task list, and then just make sure the notes are submitted to me by Friday. Okay, so Capítulo 4A is cuando éramos niños. We're going to be talking about the imperfect tense and then comparing the imperfect to the preterite tense. So, primero, el fondo cultural. Lee el párrafo sobre Pablo Picasso y escribe un resumen del párrafo. So you are going to read this paragraph about Pablo Picasso, and you are going to fill in your notes packet. When you write your summaries, you can write them in English. This is for you to understand because you will be tested on the culture. So pause this video and read this paragraph here, and then in your own words, give me a summary in the designated spot in your note packet. Pablo Picasso era uno de los mejores artistas españoles del siglo XX. En este cuadro, como en muchas de sus obras, Picasso usó formas abstractas para ilustrar las dos figuras. Pintó la figura de la niña mucho más grande en proporción que la figura de la mujer y pintó las caras muy serias. Y siguiente, contesta las preguntas sobre Pablo Picasso. ¿Por qué crees que pintó Picasso la figura de la niña tan grande? Y también, ¿cómo captas tú los momentos más importantes de tu familia? And again, you can write your answers in English on your answer sheet or your notes packet. Siguiente, la cultura. Again, we have another culture section on las mascotas. So lee el párrafo sobre las mascotas. Generalmente en los países hispanohablantes, el papel or the role de las mascotas, which are pets, es más que solo ser otro miembro de la familia. Por ejemplo, un perro protects la casa en la ciudad o ayuda en el campo. Por lo general, los conejillos de indias or guinea pigs o las ratoncitos no son mascotas comunes. Okay, so read this, write a summary of what you think it says on your corresponding note packet. And then contesta la pregunta en tus apuntes. Compara el papel de las mascotas en los Estados Unidos con su papel en los países hispanohablantes. And you're going to, again, write your answer in the designated area on your answer key. Siguiente, los analogías. These are analogies, okay? This is going to be a little bit of vocab practice. So here are some analogies. For example, levantarse is to acostarse, just as decir la verdad is to blank. So to wake up is the opposite of go to sleep. So to tell the truth, the opposite is going to be to lie. So using your vocab list, try to fill in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 answers. And again, pause this video to fill these in. Using your vocab list from that you filled out today. Check your answers. Vamos a chequear. Tenemos mentir, la cuerda, jugar, molestar, el agua, travieso, permitir y el dinero. Más cultura, las guarderías infantiles. Okay. En los países hispanohablantes hay una variedad de opciones de guarderías infantiles. Unas guarderías son del gobierno municipal, of the city government, o provincial, the provincial government. Algunas compañías ofrecen servicio de guardería infantil para las personas que trabajan allí. También hay guarderías privadas. And again, pause this video to write your summary of what this means in English to you. Y contesta las preguntas. De niño o cuando de niña, ¿ibas a una guardería infantil? En tu opinión, ¿cuál es la mejor opción para cuidar a los niños y por qué? And again, pause this video to write your answers. Y finalmente, imperfecto. This is the imperfect tense in Spanish, and this is what we are going to specialize on this chapter. Una otra manera para hablar sobre el pretérito es el imperfecto. So another way of talking about the preterite or things that happened in the past is using the imperfect. Pueden usar el imperfecto para hablar sobre las acciones que ocurrió muchas veces en el pasado. So the imperfect is used more to talk about events that happened many times in the past. So los usos del imperfecto, the uses of the imperfect are for descriptions, reciprocal actions, time, weather, and then when you're talking about physical, mental, and emotional states. And again, fill in your answer key with these answers. So aquí están las formas del imperfecto de AR. So we have the endings for AR verbs. Again, when you have an AR verb, you're going to chop off that AR ending. And you're going to add aba, abas, aba, abamos, notice con acento, accent on the a, abais, and aban. Por ejemplo, the verb jugar, which is was or were playing in the imperfect. Jugaba, jugabas, jugaba, jugábamos, jugabais, and jugaban. También aquí están las formas del imperfecto de ER y IR. And notice the accents on all 6 forms. Ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, and ian. So, por ejemplo, hacer, which is was or were doing or making. Hacía, hacías, hacía, hacíamos, hacíais, and hacían. Las frases del imperfecto. So phrases of the imperfect. When you see a sentence that starts with one of these phrases, it is going to be in the imperfect tense. So just like with the preterite, when we have things like when you see the word like last night or last year, last week, you know it's about to be the preterite tense. So when you see these things such as generalmente, por lo general, a menudo, muchas veces, de vez en cuando, todo lo día, or nunca, you are going to be using the imperfect tense. And again, fill your note packet in. Feel free to pause this video. Claro que sí, los irregulares. As you are familiar with the Spanish language right now, you know there are always irregulars. So, los irregulares del imperfecto, we have the verb ir, okay? So instead of saying went, like the preterite, it would say like I was going. Notice the accent on nosotros. Iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, and iban. Ser in the preterite or in the imperfect is going to mean was or were. So we have era, eras, era, éramos, erais, and eran. Again, notice the accent on nosotros. And then the verb ver, which was saw or was seeing. So was seeing or was watching. Is going to be veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, and veían. And notice there's an accent on the I of every form. Indirect object pronouns. We've learned about these since Spanish 2, but now I'm going to refresh your memory. Remember that an indirect object pronoun tells to whom or for whom an action is performed. Indirect object pronouns are used to replace or accompany an indirect object noun. And we have me, te, le, nos, os, and les. And again, to or for me, to or for you informal, to or for him, her, or you formal, to or for us, to or for y'all, and then to or for them or you all. And again, feel free to pause this video to fill in your IOP chart. Más. Because le and les have more than one meaning, you can make the meaning clear by adding a plus a name. So this was back in Me Gusta land in Spanish 1 when you would say like, a Kaylee le gusta dibujar. Okay, so adding that a plus a name is going to help figure out who you mean by lay or lace, because lay could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could be you formal. So we're going to have to find a way to specify it by using a plus a name, noun or pronoun. So, por ejemplo, Nicola siempre les decía la verdad a ellos. Okay, so at the end we added the a ellos in there because it reiterates what lace is. Okay, so again, lace could have been two boys' names, two girls' names, group of boys, group of girls. It could have meant you all, but I specified by saying a ellos. Indirect object pronouns are placed right before the verb or attached to the infinitive in a sentence. So this is, again, from Spanish 2, put the IOP right before the conjugated verb. So, por ejemplo, siempre le quería comprar dulces a su hija. And again, fill in these in your note packet. Mascotora, juguetes mayas. Okay, again, we're going to read this. Los mayas no usaban la rueda, so the wheel, para el trabajo, pero crearon juguetes de niños en forma de animales reales o inventados con ruedas. Estos juguetes eran similares al pultoy que se usa hoy. And again, write your summary of this on the corresponding note packet. Y contesta las preguntas. ¿Son similares los juguetes de los mayas a los juguetes con los que tú jugabas de niño o niña? ¿O son diferentes? ¿En qué sentido? And again, contesta las preguntas en sus apuntes. Pretérito verse imperfecto. We have several different uses for you to figure out if something is supposed to be in the preterite or if something is supposed to be in the imperfect. So for preterite, the preterite is used for single past events or a specific moment in time. It's used for a list of sequential actions, for actions that interrupt ongoing action, or for verbs referring to the senses, so hands, feet, ears, nose, and mouth. The imperfect is used for actions in progress in the past. So, for example, I was running, I was listening to music. Repeated habitual actions. So, I used to play with dolls as a child. Interrupted actions. So, I was running, and then you would switch to the preterite, and then I fell. And then telling what the time, weather, or age was. So, when I was 5 years old would be imperfect. I'm sorry. And then descriptions or physical mental state. Imperfecto versus pretérito. These are the key phrases you're going to look for at the beginning of the sentence to figure out if it is imperfect or preterite. Again, with imperfect, we have generalmente, por lo general, a menudo, muchas veces, de vez en cuando, todos los días, and nunca. And with pretérito, we look for phrases such as la semana pasada, ayer, anteayer, el mes pasado, el año pasado, and una vez, and anoche. And then vamos a practicar. You will have some practice worksheets to complete as well. This kind of concludes the main grammar concepts for this chapter. The rest of the time we're going to spend practicing. So hopefully this made sense to you. Si tienes preguntas, mándame un email. Send me an email if you have questions. All right, have a good rest of the week.